Along with individual experts, SurgeonMasters brings you life improvement strategies in 10 minutes. These proven principles and strategies are easy to learn and can be applied immediately, allowing you to practice your best. Here's your host, Jeff Smith.
Welcome, everyone. On this episode of the SurgeonMasters mini podcast, I have with me Dr. Arianna Gianakos. Arianna is an orthopedic surgeon currently focusing on foot and ankle surgery. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here today to speak about a topic that's really important to me.
Dr. Gianakos, can you share a bit more about you and also that topic that you're referring to?
Sure. Yeah. So I am currently an orthopedic surgeon and I am focusing on foot and ankle and sports medicine. And I've always had an interest in bettering our field, whether it be through education or research. And unfortunately, something I witnessed and experienced firsthand was how abusive behaviors in our field can really affect resident education during their training and well-being of all physicians in all walks of life. And that's really how Speak Up Ortho, which is our group that started just, several months ago, was started because we had a Facebook post, which was in this women's and orthopedics group, asking if anyone experienced a sexist comment. And the number of responses was alarming. So there were several leaders who got together, female leaders from across the country, and created a meeting to say, what do we do about this? I had been at that time working on several research projects with some of the women in Ruth Jackson, which is our Women's Orthopedic Society, evaluating the behaviors of bullying, sexual harassment, discrimination, all of this during residency training across subspecialties. So not just orthopedics, but across subspecialties. And we found that the rates of these behaviors during training were alarmingly high, and that this was an endemic problem that really needed to be fixed. So Speak Up Ortho was this group of people who decided, what are we going to do to make a difference? And a small subgroup of us decided to start a social media platform on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and we decided to name it Speak Up Ortho. And it was a platform where individuals could anonymously submit their stories in a safe way so that we could post them and support them and raise awareness of a cultural problem that was in our field.
And as you point out, the research and other personal observations and experience share that it goes well beyond just the training period.
Yes, unfortunately, although my research originally focused on residency training, during that time, we saw that in the literature, even over the last 10 years, that it's been reported in high numbers of abusive behavior during medical school and then far extending into careers. Some people who have been 20 years out still experience these behaviors. So we realize that this isn't just an institution alone problem. It's really a culture problem in medicine that affects people of all ages in all stages of training and in all different subspecialties and fields. So this is a much bigger issue than just in orthopedic surgery. This is just really a cultural problem within the field of all of medicine.
So what are the things that you're doing either with the campaign or across the campaign to start making a difference?
Sure. So we decided to think cross subspecialty and come up with a call to action plan. And this started with Speak Up Ortho. And actually, we're going to be having a preliminary plan published in an upcoming issue in JOS. That's actually a letter to residency programs because the initial focus is at the residency level. But this is then going to hopefully be taken a step further to apply to at an institutional and governmental level, where Speak Up Ortho is not here to raise awareness alone, but we're actually trying to tackle and create change for our residents, for our colleagues. So, we've come across different action items that we think could make a difference. Some of that involves third-party body representation, where if there's a problem, then individuals will have a safe place to report in an unbiased manner. Right now, a lot of the programs and a lot of institutions, the people they're reporting to are sometimes the perpetrators. And so we need to have a new system in play where people can be safe, that the reporting system is confidential. In addition, we need to vet our leaders. We need to have a way to hold those who are perpetrating these behaviors accountable for what's happening. And something we're doing is where we have leaders from all different specialties coming together to say, okay, maybe we can talk to a sanctioning body like, in orthopedics, the ABOS, help from the AAOS. And we have all these different groups that are willing to support this cause so that we could really make a change at all different levels, at the institution level and the government level, which I think is really important.
That's fantastic. And you highlight that there's different levels, right? That there's the leadership level where change can be much more significant while there still is the barriers there, because who that might be. There's also, locally within our systems, but there's even individually. Like,
Absolutely.
Why don't you touch on a few things that anyone listening could maybe do to have an impact?
Sure. I mean, as I said before, change really, it can start from the top down. And I think leadership is, they're critical in the way that they lead and how they promote culture of a program. But at the same time, we also have to look within ourselves because we can be that change. It's very easy to treat other people with respect. We are all professionals and we're here to help others and to help each other. So first and foremost, you can always be professional with your colleagues, always lend a helping hand. For those who are following in your footsteps, know that, they might be struggling too. You never know what someone is going through. And as physicians, we should be a little bit more conscientious that our job is to help others, not just our patients, but each other. Bystander training is really an important thing that it has really been brought to light, I think, more recently. And for those of you who aren't aware of bystander training, it includes 4 Ds, where you directly confront the situation. You can distract, interrupt any abusive behavior. You can delegate responsibility by looking to others for help, or you can delay if you're not entirely sure of what to do and gather more information and then follow up to see how can I help this individual. So witnesses can really be a part of this change. And I don't think witnesses realize how important and how powerful they really are when they do see something. Because when an individual is trying to stand up, which is, it's very difficult to do, especially in a system that is a power dynamic, having a witness say, hey, I saw this, or I'm supporting this individual, that's huge for someone. And once again, I think, at an individual level, just having reporting processes in an environment where people understand it's difficult to speak up, that we need to take those complaints seriously. We have to make sure it's confidential and just support each other, because unfortunately, if we don't do that, this is why abusive behaviors will just keep going on and on and on.
Would you mind just sort of summarizing the sort of 3 groups of areas that you think we can address?
Sure. I think first and foremost, like you mentioned before, at the individual level, we can all just be better to each other. Number 2, we need to change our reporting system so that it's confidential and it's safe. And that number 3, we need to hold those accountable. There has to be a checks and balance in our system. But at the end of the day, this is why it's so important that in Speak Up Ortho, we say, let's speak up and you're safe to come and speak with us and you're supported. And the hashtag is incredibly effective across subspecialty. This is not just an orthopedic issue. This is a medicine issue that spans across men, women, all walks of life. Surgeons and medical doctors should be encouraged to always speak up and know that they'll be supported.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So everyone should speak up. There you have it. In less than 10 minutes, this is Jeff Smith, along with Dr. Arianna Gianakos. Until the next episode of Life Improvement Strategies for the Surgeon Who Wants More. Ciao.
Now, take 10 minutes and put your plan into action to practice your best.